Hello everyone, this is The Seeker of Grace. How many of you have developed interest in these horse girls, also known as Umamusume? And how many of you have grown so attached to them that you have dedicated yourselves to becoming good trainers for them? Well, it has been some time since I was persuaded by Vega to join him as a trainer in the world of Umamusume Pretty Derby. And the intense competition aside, it is a wonderful world filled with colourful characters with colourful stories. In fact, much thought is given by these horse girls to little details in their appearance. For instance, did you know that there is some significance in the position of their ear accessories? If you don't, I'm sure that many of the Umamusume trainers will be happy to share this knowledge with you. But I digress. I simply wanted to establish how rich the personalities of these horse girls are. And it is no wonder that many of the trainers here find their trainees so relatable and endearing. I'm not sure what Vega means when he repeatedly speaks of the best mobile game of the year, but I can testify to how beautiful the world of Umamusume Pretty Derby is. And given how much I enjoyed my time with the people there, I want to take a bold step in recounting one of my experiences there during this season of Christmas. Before I begin, however, I would like to pose this question as food for thought. If your darling horse waifu were to lose every single race and fail at almost every training session, would you still love and support her? Keep this question in mind as you listen to my story. Most trainers would know that we are in the middle of the Unity Cup scenario. Well, this story took place some time ago, towards the end of the URA finale scenario. In spite of many challenges and obstacles, the event was a resounding success. Director Akikawa of Tracen Academy issued many rewards on that day, from the best sprinter to the most photogenic. But among all these awards, there was one of note which the director promoted rather persistently: the Umamusume of the Year award. Surprisingly, for such a distinguished award, the criteria was quite unclear. Every horse girl, trainee or not, was eligible to participate, guided by a vague explanation from the director that she sought one who best embodied the Umamusume spirit, whatever that meant, and they were each to select an item of their choice to present to the director personally as a measure of their worth. Almost every horse girl came forth, from the celebrated to the common, and presented their treasures to Director Akikawa one by one. The director smiled approvingly at every participant, and some swore they could see a glint in the director's eyes as she attempted to lay claim to all these treasures herself. The party was proceeding smoothly, and the director had accumulated a pile of artifacts. It was at this moment that Haru Urara came forth, an Umamusume with a rather questionable reputation, to put it nicely. The festive cheer was instantly silenced. All eyes were fixated on her. Incessant murmurs and shouted whispers. And oblivious to the tension, Haru Urara approached the director with a spring in her step, and with a wide grin across her face, she presented her gift to the director. A report card detailing her track record. The director examined it meticulously. JBC Sprint last place, February Stakes last place, Elm Stakes last place, Platinus Shore last place, Arima Kinen first. From the back. Her training records included the following remarks: cannot swim, cannot spell prestigious, and cannot run laps around the track without being distracted by butterflies. The director wore a fresh expression of concern. The murmurs seemed to grow louder. She looked around. Disgusted faces, harsh criticisms from trainers, malicious snickers from trainees, and the petite pink-haired girl's own trainer in the corner, with his face turned away in shame. And standing before her, amidst this air of negativity, was Haru Urara, with that frighteningly genuine smile. The director turned to her assistant, Tazuna, who could only answer her by shaking her head sorrowfully. Never before had the director felt more troubled. Mustering all of the strength she had, she forced a wry smile, thanked Haru Urara in a soft voice, and sent her on her way. Her thoughts quickly shifted to the Umamusume of the Year award, and the offerings she had and will receive, and she suddenly felt the mantle of director weigh heavily on her as she gazed upon the report card of that gleeful, gentle girl, gripped tightly in her hands. Time passed, and everyone returned to the festivities, and not long after, the party was about to draw to a close, and the time had come to crown the Umamusume of the Year. No one could contain their excitement. Incessant chatter, muffled squeals, desperate prayers. And there in the spotlight stood Director Akikawa, with nothing but pure resolve to face the fires of judgment. Regardless, the announcement had to be made, and the title of Umamusume of the Year would be given to none other than Haru Urara. The silence that followed was deafening. One could hear a pin drop, or in this case, the delighted cheers of a certain happy, hopeful horse girl, as everyone stared at Haru Urara in shocked disbelief. Tazuna summoned the courage to ask the director the question on everyone's mind. What possessed her to choose the unlikeliest of candidates for this award? The director explained that Haru Urara best embodied the spirit of a true Umamusume, and she elaborated that while all the other horse girls earned accolades from their bountiful talents, Haru Urara gave all she had with whatever little talent she had to offer, and she continued to stay optimistic. None dared to refute the director's decision, but neither were they convinced by her words. But surely you would understand the director's heart. So, how did you find this story? Was it heartwarming? Refreshing, perhaps? Does it sound strangely familiar? Indeed, as I watched these events unfold, it reminded me of the story of the widow's mite from the Christian Bible. In that story, Jesus Christ commended the widow for her seemingly worthless offering and valued it over the generous gifts of the rich. To him, the feelings behind the offering are worth far more than the value of the item. Unlike Haru Rara, the widow was probably not young nor cute, judging from the cultural context in which that story took place, but she was probably just as cheerful as our petite, pink-haired heroine. And to those of you who love the horse that goes by the same name, the Christian Bible implies that animals, like humans, have souls. And though she has departed from your world, I believe God would judge her soul favorably, and that she would have indeed found a place in heaven. Returning to the subject, there is a lesson to be learnt from this story. There is nothing more important in a gift than the genuine feelings poured into it. In this season of Christmas, will your eyes be focused on the gifts or the giver? And to take it a step further, will you look beyond the Christmas festivities at its religious significance? Well, was that an experience? I truly am not accustomed to such long monologues, but this event I bore witness to in the world of Umamusume Pretty Derby felt so similar to a biblical story that I simply had to share it. The Christian Bible is full of beautiful stories, each of which has layers of beautiful lessons. And listening to the story I had narrated, would you not say that the stories of the Christian Bible are relevant to you today? After all, who is to say that you will not encounter experiences similar to these biblical stories the way I did? On a side note, you might have noticed that I avoided quoting any character's dialogue to avoid disrupting your immersion into the story. If you prefer that I include what the characters say in future stories, then please let me know. Also, I heard that Bridget managed to persuade Vega to join her in the world of Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, attracted by all the colourful characters with colourful stories, or as Vega loves to call them, husbandos and waifus. Could this be an opportunity for me to find more stories? But I shall avoid getting ahead of myself here. Did you enjoy listening to my story? Would you like to listen to more of such stories in the future? If so, then please click on the like and subscribe buttons. Grace be with you, and have a Merry Christmas.